Okay, Mom. So I wanted to give you a little tutorial on using Instagram. Now, you'll probably notice that my Instagram doesn't actually have so many followers, doesn't have that many posts. And this is because I'm not using it in relation to my work. I'm not using it to promote, my personal brand or anything. I've just been using it to share a few photos that I like, and I'm almost using it just as like a photo database, a place to keep these stuff. Uh, and I don't, sometimes I'll push a photo from here and also share it on Facebook, but for the most part, I'm not really that active on Instagram. However, I have been studying up a lot on it for the benefit of my clients. So here are some techniques that I utilize for clients, whether Avia reps or things that we'll be using to promote Tourism Builder. So I actually did a sample post here, and I want to tell you about the mechanics of this post and why I did it the way I did. And a couple of caveats. First of all, I'm doing this recording on the computer, but normally you would manage Instagram from your iPhone. So you need to download the photos that you want to use to your phone and then post from there, because it's targeted for iPhone users, and all of the filters and editing capability, everything really exists on the phone. But what I wanted to point out here is this is on my profile. So we can see that there's a little heart mark here, which means that I just got a like. And you can see in the past 20 minutes or so, past half hour, I got like 6 or so likes on this photo. Yeah, 6 likes and 6 comments. And I want to show you how I've been able to get that many likes in a relatively short period of time. If this continues, this photo will most likely get 100 or so over the next day or two. So a couple of tips and tricks. And first of all, when I uploaded the photo, I included a caption. And there are 2 tricks for using captions. First of all, you want to do what's called a call to action. You want to say something in the caption that will inspire people to comment or to like the photo. So in this case, I did it sort of like a contest thing, and I said, can anyone name this spot? Which is kind of a gimmicky thing, and to be honest, if I thought about it more, I might have done something different, but I just thought this would get people talking about it. So you always want to ask a question, or you want to give an action that people can do, like this photo, please, click to follow me, or let me know your thoughts, or there's a lot of different things you can do, and you just experiment to see how people resonate best, but how that resonates best with people. But what you're trying to do is just start a conversation. So on Instagram, in fact, all social media, they're constantly updating their algorithm to get the most benefit for their users. And what they do is they look for signals that indicate, well, they have different signals that indicate how people are using the platform. So when somebody likes a photo, that's a very small indicator. Like, it shows that they have some interest, but it doesn't show anywhere near the interest of somebody who actually comments. So you always want to try to start a conversation. That leads to the highest engagement, and that sends a signal to Instagram saying, hey, people are really interested in this content, and then Instagram will feature it at the top of their feeds, and they'll put it on the Explore page if you get enough interest, and I'll show you the Explore page later. So tip number 1 is always include a call to action. Tip number 2 is always use somebody's handle name, and in this case I used your handle name because I want to get interest for you. So when people click this, they actually go to your profile page, Well, let's go back again. And you can do that too. You can actually include your own handle name in the posts. And the reason you do that is because when somebody has looked at this, what you want them to do, the next action you want them to take, is always to go to your bio page and then click on a link. Now let's see if I haven't actually checked this yet, but let's see if you've got a link in your bio. So we'll click on this. No, it's not open. Just go back. Things are slow. Hold on. Seems to be some delay with Instagram. It doesn't want to open that post again. So I'm just going to refresh the page here. Okay, and we're back to this. And to stop having to navigate between pages, I'm just going to right click and open this as in a new tab. So when we jump over to your profile, yeah, great. Okay, so you do have your website URL here. What we really want to do is give people a call to action here as well. So you want to say, please follow me, or please view all of my artwork at my website here. And another thing, while we're on your bio page, you want to use a bio description that has the most common keywords that people are going to be looking for. And we'll talk more about keywords in a moment, but you've put in, yeah, multimedia artist, that's good, watercolors, oils, charcoal sketches, that's okay, but you could be more descriptive, like you could match this description a bit more with what people are going to see in your content. And by that, I mean, you would say plein air, watercolors, you would use these keywords that people are most likely going to be searching for. Okay, so going back to this tab on this post, again, to recap, so those two tips for captions are a call to action and tag someone. Now, sometimes you can tag yourself and that gives people a direct link to go to your bio so that they click here instead of clicking here. But you can also tag friends or other artists or magazines or websites that are on Instagram. Anyone or really anywhere that you think is going to get like a good reaction. Now the next thing, you'll notice that I ended with ... I did that because it naturally implies that there's more to come, and it's sort of a psychological hack, you know, a little trick. It will get people to continue reading because they feel like, oh, there's more coming. Don't do it all the time, but you know, you can do that sometimes, and it's just a hack that you can use. All right, now the next thing, and this is really important, you'll see that I put these hashtags in here. So watercolor, plein air painting, Peggy Burkowski. These are all tags that I thought, okay, might have something to do with this photo or watercolor. And you know, beachscape, seascape, watercolor artist, oceanscapes, all of these things, you'll start typing in like beach into Instagram, and it will suggest other related words that have a large following. So I thought like beach might be good, and as I started typing beachscape came up and had a large following, so I thought, yeah, that's good. This is a beachscape. Let's use this. Okay, now, so let me scroll. Okay, so what I did here is I wrote this initial this initial caption, and I added these initial hashtags. And then what's really important is to get a conversation going. So I posted it, and then I posted a comment on my own post with some more hashtags. And then immediately I asked a friend, in this case Kiwiko, to comment and post some of her hashtags. And she even tagged a friend, her friend John Me, who loves beach scenes and might be interested in this. And then you'll notice within a few minutes, because I used these hashtags that other people are searching for, this art profile, where is it now? Oh, Art's Amazing on Instagram. They found this post through those hashtags and followed this post. And to keep a conversation going, I followed them back and I said, hey, Art's Amazing, thanks for the like and follow. You just keep it simple. And the same thing, my friend Tim had liked it by this point. So I said, thanks, Tim. And, by the way, can you name this spot? Or at Distant Dystopia, that's my friend Donnie who travels all over Japan. Surely you know. So just trying to keep this conversation going. Now, during the time that, even as I've been talking here on this video, I'll just refresh the page, we've gotten more likes, more people have started to pick it up. See here we've got 2 more. People are picking up on these hashtags that I included, and that's how they're finding it. So some of them are friends, some of them are people that I've never heard of before, like Cassia Draws. She's an artist in Berlin, and she just started following because of this post. Art's Amazing. Let's take a look at this page. Art's Amazing, I think, is not an individual artist. It's probably a magazine or something. I didn't have a chance to really dive in and look at it yet, but they are, boy, things are very, oh, I know why it's slow. It's because I'm actually doing the video at the same time. So it's just my computer is slow. Okay, anyway, yeah, so this profile, Art's Amazing, they would be keeping an eye out for these related hashtags. And when they saw this post, they thought it was cool, so they followed. And the same thing with Cassia Draws. All of these people who've liked in the last few minutes, they liked because it was something to do with their brand. Now, to keep this interest going and this conversation going, you want to follow these people. So when Cassia Draws and Art's Amazing, when they liked that, I went in and had a look at their art, and Cassia Draws had a similar seascape that I thought was cool, very dynamic. So I just followed her and posted, hey, this is cool, but nice, dynamic scene. You really captured the ocean well, that kind of thing. So she's a 32-year-old artist from Berlin. Now, she's a bit of an influencer on Instagram because she has almost 10,000 followers. And one thing you'll notice is that all of her posts, they not only get a lot of likes, they get a lot of comments. This is what's really important. The Instagram algorithm doesn't look just for likes. It looks specifically for conversations that people are having about the photos. So when you get, and Cassia, actually, she's lucky. She has a pretty high like to comment ratio. 560 likes with only 11 comments is really good. Normally, you need to have a pretty similar ratio. You need to get people commenting in order to keep them liking. And as they do, you get more and more sort of build up. Now, Instagram's being really slow right now, so I'm actually just going to close Cassia's profile. Let's go over and look at Art's Amazing. Okay, so they're like a whole group, featuredarts.com. Excuse me. They have 64,000, 300 followers. So they're very successful on Instagram. And one thing you'll notice is that they're also following a lot of other people. And a moment ago you saw on Cassia's profile, she had 7,000 followers and she was following 6,000 people. When you're an individual, in order to build up your brand, you have to follow other people so that they like and comment on your stuff. A company like this that probably puts out a lot of content, they probably didn't follow so many people, but you'll notice that they're probably actually paying to support or to build up that traffic because they don't have natural organic engagement. People aren't actually commenting on their photos, they're just passively liking them. So although they've built up a large following, they've probably done it using like automated bots and followers and a few other like paid techniques. But really, as an individual, what you need to do is get as much like organic, natural engagement as possible. Okay, so to recap, use those hashtags so people can find your posts. And oh, I closed that tab. Hold on, let me go back to that. Let's just look at that post again. Okay, so we've got 8 likes now. It's a bit of momentum going because I started out the conversation, right away. Oh, and that's another thing, it's time sensitive. So when you post a photo, you've got it's something like a 20 to 40 minute window. Some friends of mine have tested, and we're seeing it's somewhere like around 20 to 40 minutes within that window after you've posted. You need to get people commenting on it to get this boost. All these different people have commented and posted on. Yeah, so it's time sensitive. The sooner you get people commenting on it, the more of a boost you'll get, and the more chance you have of getting into this Explorer area. Now, the Explorer feed, this is like tailored to people's interests, and Instagram will use recent photos that you've posted or things that you seem to be interested in, and they'll target them to you. So recently, I posted a picture of cherry blossoms, and so I'm getting a bunch of cherry blossoms or similarly colored floral-related pictures in my feed. I always have beach scenes, so whenever I come to explore, I usually see related ocean and beach scenes. And I like pictures of MGBs, so I usually see classic cars in my feed. And you'll see everybody has a very tailored like Explore feed. It's for discovering things that Instagram thinks that they're going to be interested in. And to get into this Explore feed, this is where people go to just find new stuff. So by using those hashtags and by having your followers follow you, you have a chance of getting into this Explore feed. And if you do, you get a real spike in traffic. You can have hundreds of likes show up over a relatively short time if you get into the Explore feed. Okay, so looking at your page, one thing I noticed is that you posted a bunch of your recent photos, and you did one posting here where you had multiple photos. And what I wanted to advise you on here is you actually need to treat each and every post as its own campaign, its own event. So I would even go back and like actually delete these photos and start trickling them out just one at a time, and do it on a schedule of posting maybe twice a week or 3 times a week, not too much. And what you want to do is absolutely optimize every photo. Every time you post something, you want to get a conversation going. So I see you had a couple of comments here. Let's look and see who commented. When somebody comments, you'll get a notification on your phone. And what you want to do is immediately, as soon as you possibly can, jump in and say, thank you, thanks so much. I really enjoyed painting this one. If anybody's interested, I painted this on watercolor using my portable easel. This was done in plein air. These are the colors I used. These are the brushes I used. Whatever it takes to get a conversation going. And if you've used, those hashtags, you'll get a bunch of people discovering it, and they'll come in and they'll keep commenting and liking, and that content will stay at the top of the feed for a very long time. And that becomes its own sort of campaign. Each one becomes extremely high quality, like curated content, not just a post that you're sort of throwing out there and hoping somebody will like, but something you're really starting a conversation around. That's the key word. Each one has to be a conversation. All right, now when you post, sorry, excuse me. When you post something, you need to use those hashtags, and I want to show you an example of what that looks like. But Instagram is so slow today, it keeps failing to load. I'm not sure if that's my slow internet connection or what's going on there. Let's give it a minute. The interface is working, but it won't load. Why? I don't know. That's weird. I'll just go back to my page here. I might have to try this another time. Instagram just isn't loading right now. So what I wanted to say about hashtags is when you search for them, you'll come up with all sorts of new ideas. And you'll search and you'll like put in art, and then you'll see artists on Instagram. That's a whole thing. And I realized when I found artists on Instagram, what you want to do is actually go to the Explore or the search area, and you want to type that in, artists on Instagram, and it should, if it were working correctly, if the internet were working correctly today, it would immediately come up and show that. But you search on that, find other artists that you feel are interesting, and follow them and like their work, and then they will follow you back. So right now you're following 79 and have 167 followers. When you're starting out, you want to have this, you want to follow like 2,000 people. And with a private account, you can follow up to 7,500. So to build your following, you could do that every day. Go in, search for artists on Instagram, or hashtag watercolors, or hashtag plein air. Find some artists that you think are great, follow them, and comment on their work. Join the conversation going on their work, and then they'll come back and join the conversation on your work. And that comes to the next tip, and this is my final tip. What you really ideally want to do is get what's called a engagement pod going. It can be called a post pod or like pod or engagement pod. And what this means is you get a group of about 8 to 15 other Instagrammers together who you all have a common theme. And every time one of you posts, you message all of the others through Instagram. You just tag them with their handle at Peggy Burkowski or at Michelle Wirch or whomever it might be, and ask them to look at your latest post, and they'll know that they need to join that conversation. They'll start commenting and posting on it. And if those 8 to 15 people, every time you post each other's and comment on each other's work, it shows Instagram that this is popular, it's trending content, and you'll all get a boost. Every influencer who's gotten over 10,000 followers on Instagram has done this. They've found other people in their niche, whether it's car mechanics or marketers or whatever it might be, artists. You find other people in that niche, you get together and you become social. It's a social network. So you all comment and like each other's work. And you do that within that, 40-minute window after posting content, so that it's always fresh and you're always getting this conversation going. So in my screen here, I don't know why, but Instagram is just not loading properly. But at the time that we've been talking, I've got more likes on my phone. So Cal has liked it, Nick has liked it, my friend Jai has liked it. They've liked it because when I posted, I notified them. I gave them at Nick, at Jai, check out this post, and because they're kind of in my like engagement pod. They're people who often like my posts, and I knew that if I posted this, they would be interested. So they've done that. They've come together and helped post. Okay, so this is, I can't really get much further because everything's frozen here and I can't show you anymore. But those are the main points that I wanted to show, that just to recap, when you post something, you want to get these comments going. And the way to do that is to message your friends, let them know you've got a new post. When you post your content, drip it out. Don't do a rush of content, but just do like one post every couple of days and take your time with it to really, quite carefully choose the hashtags that you think are going to work. You can do up to 30 hashtags, and you should load as many hashtags as you possibly can. You'll probably get to about 20 and just can't think of any new ones, and that's fine, but definitely do at least 10 hashtags, and tag the people that you think will be interested. And then you'll start getting lots of engagement, lots of traffic, and you'll start getting click-throughs from there to your website, and people will buy your artwork and attend your classes and attend your tours and so on. Okay, have fun.